Hey everybody, welcome back to Phones and Drones. To all you new visitors, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up this video, and leave a comment down below. I wanted to go ahead and finally get my Note 8 review out of the way. I've had the phone now for actually about 2 weeks today, and I want to give you some thoughts, opinions, and definitely talk about that price point that Samsung has set for this phone. We all know by now it's their most expensive device. It's $930 unlocked or through any carrier. So right off the bat, let's go ahead and touch on that. Do I think this phone warrants that very hefty price tag? No, I cannot say I do. By no means doesn't mean it's a bad device. This is definitely my daily driver now that I'm using. I have the Essential phone. I have an iPhone 7 Plus. I have quite a few other devices. But by no means can I justify spending that amount of money on this phone. Now, having said that, I did get that deal from being a prior Note 7 owner through Samsung. It definitely helps the burden of this price point. But for those of you that cannot get that deal or weren't a prior Note owner, I cannot stress enough. There is no difference between this and the S8 or S8 Plus to warrant the difference in purchases. If you really need an S Pen or the little larger screen real estate, go for it. By no means are you going to be disappointed, but I cannot say if you have one or the other, do you need this device? Now, spending these couple weeks with the phone, I have to say it has been a phenomenal experience. Samsung has definitely done so much better with their user interface. Everything's been snappy. Everything's loaded up quick. I've never had any issues at all with the user interface at all. They've implemented quite a few amount of new features with the app's edge, including the dual app loading at the same time. Finally, we can actually use two apps at once without having to individually load them up. The build quality, we know already. Samsung's been doing a great job on the build quality on phones for quite a few amount of years now. It's got a gorgeous display. It's the first phone with dual OIS cameras. The S Pen does have new features, like I just showed you with the dual apps at once. You also can go ahead and do cute little things like live messages that I'll show you right here. Just little neat little things you can draw on, do whatever. You could play it back, save it, and then actually send it as a GIF if you want in messages, kind of like Apple does on their iMessage platform. Takes us a couple seconds to save, and you're good to go. It'll ask you right after if you want to share it or not. So that's a pretty cool new S Pen feature. You can see it right there in action again. It does have a micro SD card still. It is still IP68 certified. I've had no issue with the battery. I leave my brightness on auto brightness all the time at about halfway up, and obviously I let it go up to the 1200 nits in bright daylight outside. The camera performance is top notch. I've had no issues. I'll throw up some samples in a later video as well so you can see. It is a little more difficult to hold because of it being so large. I don't have large hands, but I've had no issues using it at all. I leave Bluetooth on all the time, connected to, as you see, my Gear S3. Another downside of this phone, though, is not only is it expensive, but they continue to put the fingerprint sensor up top. Does not make much sense to me at all. Why is it so hard to not just put in the middle of the phone like every other brand has done, even Essential, which is actually what I'm using to shoot this video with. My Essential phone has it in the middle of the back where it belongs. There's not much else to say about the body and the design or the screen. We all know how great it is. Samsung keeps somehow improving on their own displays every year, year over year. They are phenomenal. They've gotten better. They have HDR10 compatibility, and they look flawless and phenomenal if you're playing something on YouTube on there. The phone itself has a Snapdragon 835, again, just like in the S8 and the S8 Edge. You're not going to have any problems as far as lag, even with the Samsung Experience Launcher, as they call it. The only extra benefit you're getting on this phone is the S Pen and the I think it's a tenth of a millimeter increase in screen size. It is a little squarer. For the most part, my battery life, I've been getting about 4.5 hours of on-screen time. That's with mixed usage. I'll take it off the charger about 6 or 7 a.m. and I'll keep using it throughout the day and have no issues. I do leave the always on display on. You can see here, actually, let me go into my my settings menu for you. See, actually my brightness is down a little bit. I leave brightness, auto brightness on like I stated earlier. Let's go into my battery indicator. So you can see it's been off the charger for 9 hours almost. I've gotten an hour and 8 minutes of standby time, or screen on time. I did give it a little charge a few minutes ago on my drive home, but that is it. It might have been charging for 10-15 minutes tops. The headphones that come in the box are the AKGs that Samsung has been including since the S8. They've been great as well. The camera performance is obviously one of the strongest suits that Samsung has been pushing in recent years. There is zero shutter lag for me. The one thing I did want to talk about in regards to the dual cameras, like I stated, they do both have dual OIS stabilizations for optically stabilized images. However, they are not equal. One has an f1.7 aperture and the main sensor actually has a 2.4, and you do see the difference right off the bat. There's no way around it. Sometimes I choose using the wider angle lens over the cropped image of the other ones. The dual pixel autofocus though is only available on the main one. Don't forget. Just keep in mind though, the quality of the images will be different depending on which camera you're using. Live focus I've used quite a bit. The camera views, or the camera pictures that come out phenomenal. Very comparable to what every other phone manufacturer is doing, like Apple and is doing with their portrait mode, Huawei and all them. They all have their own sort of versions of it. It is a little heavier than the classic S8. There's been a lot of concern about the battery life. I do want to circle back to this again. I'm not sure how people use their phones. Everyone uses them differently. I don't know how you viewers use it. However, you will see a difference in battery life. I've seen other reviews that say that it's terrible, it's atrocious because of the smaller battery. I believe it's a 33 milliamp battery as opposed to 35 in the S8 Plus. I have both. I've gotten comparable screen on time with this, with whatever tweaks Samsung has done in regards to the processing power and all that. My verdict though on this phone, it would be a no-brainer if it was definitely less expensive. The dual cameras and the S Pen, I just don't think it's enough benefits to justify the premium price. The Note 8 does give you added benefits of the latest version of Samsung's user interface over the S8, but we know that'll eventually come down the line to that S8 as well. You got to keep in mind too what this is about to be going against. Apple's iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, as well as the iPhone 10, will be coming out here shortly. They're going to have some stiff competition with this device. The Google Pixel XL2, the Google Pixel itself, I believe the V30 should be released here shortly before the holidays. All these phones are in a wide price range right now. You are going to get some for the $1,000 price point, aka the iPhone 10. You're going to get some under that, like the V30. Who knows where the Google Pixel is going to come in? I would imagine it being somewhere in the middle there. Just keep this in mind. Unless you need those two features, you don't need to splurge extra on this phone. And that's it, guys. What do y'all think? Tell me what you think in regards to this device. Are you going to spend on it? Is it too expensive for you? Let me know what y'all think. I'm curious to see how many people are actually willing to spend $1,000 on a cell phone. Like I said, guys, don't forget to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and we'll be back later with another video.